Think scaling AI is hard? Think again. With Watson X, you can deploy AI across any environment. Above the clouds, helping pilots navigate flights, and on lots of clouds, helping employees automate tasks. On-prem, so designers can access proprietary data, and on the edge, so remote bank tellers can assist customers. Watson X works anywhere, so you can scale AI everywhere. Learn more at ibm.com/WatsonX. IBM. Let's create.
Hi, and welcome to IKEA. How can I help?
Oh, my schedule is crazy. I just want some me time.
Maybe it's time to embrace the joy of staying in. With comfortable beds, pillow and decor, mood lighting, and so much more, you can turn your bedroom into the place to be.
Oh, sounds like a dream.
We've got you. Visit us in-store or at ikea-usa.com/sleep to create your dream bedroom today.
Want to make a podcast? Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily, distribute it everywhere, and even earn money, all in one place for free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters, and here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit your podcasts right from your phone or your computer. So no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are heard. Video podcasts are also available on Spotify, and when you want to take conversations with your fans to the next level, Q&As and polls are the best way to get them talking. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. Ever since I discovered Spotify for Podcasters, I feel so supported in the creation and distribution of my show. Spotify for Podcasters hosts masterclasses, office hours, and more to help creators develop and fine-tune their skills. I highly recommend you give it a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to spotify.com/podcasters to get started. Because hot girl summer, don't get me wrong, it was hot. We had fun. We had a good time. But now it's time to focus on ourselves. So unless someone comes around and totally rocks your world, keep to yourself. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to or back to the show. Thank you so much for clicking on today's episode. It is I'm always giving you guys the weather report. You ready? It's a beautiful morning here in Annapolis. The sun is shining. Just made myself a cup of coffee. For some reason, morning episodes just always hit different. So buckle up because this is hopefully going to be pretty good. It's currently Wednesday morning. I woke up yesterday thinking that it was Friday. And if that doesn't describe the type of week that I'm having, I don't know what does. Nothing bad, just a lot all at once. And there are some, I guess, comical stories that I will definitely share with you guys in a new episode. You just cannot make this stuff up. It would take a lot of detail to explain all the shit that's just been happening. But just one thing after another, I'm you are just joking. And I'm kind of to a point where, we knew this, but I don't take life too seriously, and you can't. You have to be able to just laugh at any and every situation that happens to you. Spill your coffee, you laugh. That's kind of a minor example, but you guys catch my drift. I'm also not really feeling 100%. I'm not sure if it's allergies or sinus infection or cold coming on, but if my voice is a little raspy, yes, it's kind of morning, but I'm also incredibly stuffy, and my ears keep popping, which is really annoying. But that's kind of the current state of the union here with me. Just a handful of announcements, maybe less than a handful of announcements before we jump into today's topic, which is becoming That Girl this fall, or, That Girl Reboot Fall Edition. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to call it yet, but it's going to be something That Girl related because you guys are obsessed with those episodes, which, by the way, if you've never listened to 80/20 before, huge special welcome to you. Please be sure to subscribe to the show, drop a 5-star rate and review, and that just helps more people find and listen to the show. We are super, super close to 600,000 downloads, which is insane. My end of year goal is to hit 1 million, and I firmly believe that we can do it. So if you liked today's episode, share it with a friend who would also enjoy it. Leave a rate, leave a review, share it on your stories. I'm always reposting whoever posts about the show. So if you guys want to catch my attention, that's a good way to do it. Also, if you guys are not in the 80/20 group chat, you totally need to join. It's tons of fun. I made a group on Geneva probably about a month ago, and it's just a great place for you, the listeners, to connect with other listeners. There's different rooms for different topics, like there's a general forum, quotes, there's one for people who live kind of locally, which I still want to do some sort of like girls' night out situation. I just have not had a free weekend in a long time, but eventually we'll do like an 80-20 girls' night or something. Like, how freaking fun would that be? So anyway, if you guys want to join that, just hit the link in the show notes, the button that says connect with other 80-20 listeners, or maybe it says join the group chat, not sure, but I'll leave that linked there for you. Join, it's tons of fun. You don't want to miss out. If you guys have been listening to the podcast for a while, you would probably remember the episode that I did with Austin Anderson, the founder and CEO of Daily. I actually have Austin here with me right now to talk about something super exciting that we're doing.
Hey guys, I'm Austin Anderson. I'm the founder of Daily, the new authentic social media app where users share pictures and videos of their daily life with no filters and no uploads from their camera roll. So it's all in the moment, completely unfiltered, very realistic content.
Something that I personally love about Daily is that it's totally different than any other social media platform out there. So if you guys have followed along for a while, you know that I'm not really interested in totally filtering everything. I pretty much just say and post whatever I feel like posting. If you guys aren't on it, you should totally check it out. But that's not the reason why we're talking to you today. I am super pumped to announce that I'm actually teaming up with Daily for an event on October 10th for World Mental Health Day.
Mental Health Day is really important to Daily because one of our foundational elements is building a better and more positive social media and especially social space.
So on October 10th, Daily is hosting a panel to discuss the importance of authenticity online for a healthier mind. You can join me, Lily Rayco,
And me, Austin Anderson.
and a few surprise special guests for a virtual World Mental Health Day event. Pre-registration is open now. You can head to daily.com/events to grab your seat.
See you there.
Let's go ahead and dive into our segments. My current favorite this week would have to be my AirPods Max. Kind of a splurge. I typically don't go out on a whim and buy things that are like over, $100, $200, because, I like to be, kind of smart, kind of practical. I don't really buy myself things very often. I tend to spend my money more on services and experiences than I do things, which, by the way, I need to totally update my fall wardrobe, which we'll get into later. So if you guys, maybe in the group chat, drop like your favorite fall pieces. Like, I try to stick to we're going on a tangent. I try to stick to like a capsule wardrobe kind of thing. So neutrals. My color last winter was like greens and blues. I'll probably kind of stay in that general color palette. But I guess life hack that I found working, we'll call it a big girl job, where it's kind of business casual. If you pick a couple colors to shop for, it makes getting ready in the morning a whole lot easier. So I need to get back into my capsule wardrobe color palette. But if you're a working gal and you have any recommendations of fall staples, definitely drop them in the group chat, because it would just totally make my shopping experience a lot more efficient if I can just click your links, buy the sizes that work, and then order them, rather than sitting on my computer online shopping, because contrary to popular belief, I don't really think that that's a fun activity. Total tangent there. My favorite at the moment are my AirPods Max. I decided to get these because I am always listening to music or editing something, or at work I've got headphones in, and my AirPods, I have the in-the-ear AirPods, and I've been doing some research about how putting them directly in your ears isn't necessarily good for you long term. I think these devices are kind of too new to really know what they do, but it probably can't be good, right? Like, if I'm sitting batching tons of content for work and I've got headphones in for like literally 4 hours, my ears start to hurt after a while. It probably isn't like totally good for me, right? I mean, everything in moderation, but I was reading that over-the-ear headphones don't do as much damage. I mean, the Bluetooth probably can't be great near our brains, but that's just kind of, the world that we live in, right? I don't know. Anyway, like, if I'm around the house, I typically don't wear them. I'll like play music on the speaker or whatever. But anyway, I got these headphones in the mail last week, and I ordered them on Amazon. I saw that they were on sale, which was pretty exciting. They were on sale by like $100 or $200 off. And I was like, well, I gotta take advantage of this. I got the black ones, or the space gray ones. Absolutely love them. They're incredible. I'm not really too big into like devices and tech and all this stuff, so I kind of compared like Beats and Sony and these, and I was like, you know what, these are specifically made for Apple products. Everything that I do is Apple. They look cool, honestly. Like, they're trendy, they're cute, they're fun. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get these. Ordered them when they were on sale for Labor Day weekend, and they arrived. Incredible. I mean, the setup is so seamless. You literally just put them on, and then they're like, connect to Lily's iPhone, and you're like, yes. There's a transparency mode, which I really like, so you can press down on one of the buttons and it opens up the headphones to, I think that it's got a mic on it, so it pulls in any sound from outside. If you want to be able to hear kind of what's going on, be more aware. I will say though, just safety concerns, I don't live in fear, but I am smart. Okay, I'm pretty with it, and I'm pretty aware. Like, I don't really like to walk with headphones in like the mall or the grocery store or the airport or anything like that. If I'm on a run, I still wear my in-the-ear AirPods, because these big headphones really do a fantastic job of tuning out the noise. But I don't necessarily think that that's like safe if you are walking or running, unless I'm somewhere where it is super safe. And I know nothing is going to happen. But I mean, even just if there's a car behind you and you can't hear it, and maybe you cut across the street and, you know, you dart out in front of traffic, like, that's not good. Like, you got to be aware of your surroundings. So just kind of be mindful of your, you know, music volume. And I don't know, I hate to be like I said, I'm not constantly living in fear. I'm just realistic, and I know that, you know, as women, we just kind of have to be hyper alert in these types of situations, and you never want to be caught by surprise. Just a little PSA, doesn't matter what headphones you're wearing, just, you know, be highly aware of what's going on around you and keep your head on a swivel. But that was also kind of a tangent, but long story short, love my AirPods Max. I'll leave them linked in the show notes for you guys. Our quote of the week will kind of segue us into today's topic, as it pretty much always does. I think Lexi was telling me this, maybe I didn't read it, so I don't know who to attribute it to, but the quote was like, August is like the Sunday of the year. So typically on Sundays, you do what? You kind of rest a little bit, you reset for the week, you prep, you kind of get your shit together. I would agree that I naturally kind of got my shit together in August, and as soon as September hit, I was like, I am back on my bullshit. I am done with whatever was going on, and I'm back on my bullshit, back into my routine. Like, school's back in session, have a seat. Let's have a great rest of the year. Time to buckle in, finish all the shit that you wanted to finish by the end of 2022, and have fun doing it. I tend to feel like I always work my hardest in the second half of things. So the second half of the year, I'm feeling like I'm working my hardest. It's kind of like that back half push. We've all heard of being a second half team. It's kind of like you're playing games in the first half, and then you head into the locker room for halftime, and the coach says some words of inspiration, you eat some orange slices, and all of a sudden you've just got this newfound energy, this newfound like zest. That's kind of how I feel. Maybe one day I'll get into the shift that happened to me like a week or two ago. I'm not sure if I touched on this in last week's episode, but I just had a shift in the past couple weeks. It's like a switch flipped inside of me, but I was like, you know what? I'm done with X, Y, and Z, and I'm going back to A, B, and C, because A, B, and C work way better than X, Y, and Z. And you guys know this about me. Yoga is pretty much the only thing that's ever like calmed my mind and made me just sweat really hard and just truly be. It's like an hour of my day where I can just be, and these thoughts aren't racing. I just got an email. It's like the only time of day where I truly feel chill. I've kind of just been doing yoga on my own since I've moved here. I've gone to a couple classes here and there, but I was like, you know what? I need to just get back to what makes me feel truly my best. And so I started going back to yoga, and I've been like 5 times in the past week, which is pretty good. And if you guys are familiar with yoga, you know that we tend to hold a lot of emotion in our hips. And so because we've been doing a lot of hip opening, I've had a lot of emotions being released. which is exactly what I needed because that shit has been weighing me down. So I've had a couple good cries over the past few days, and I'm finally feeling like I am like back on my bullshit. I'm back to me, and we've talked about this before, but I don't want to ever be like, oh, I have to go back to a certain version of myself, but maybe I'm just feeling better. So let's not say I'm going back to the best version of me. I'm just feeling like a better version of me, you know? I typically look to nature to make sense of things, and fall is kind of symbolic in the way like the trees are turning a different color, so they're changing and they're releasing, and I kind of feel like I've been doing the same lately. To me, this fall season is about letting go of the BS that I've been carrying with me for a while and just being. I know that summer isn't officially over yet, so if you're one of those people that's like, summer's not over until the 22nd, like, sorry. To me, in my mind, summer's over. They cleaned up the pool. Like, summer's wrapping up. Like, I hate to break it to you, but show's over. But summer was tons of fun. Summer's all about playtime and heat and being with friends and, you know, just having like the best summer ever and not having a care in the world. It's tons and tons of fun. But now it's time to kind of cozy up a little bit, ground yourself, and just kind of fall back into a routine. I feel like I've been saying this a lot in this episode, but I'll probably open up a lot more one day. But April till about now has been kind of tricky for me, and I wouldn't say that I'm thriving at the present moment. So when I was planning this episode, I pulled out my books on Ayurveda that I have. Ayurveda is a 5,000-year-old medicine system. I believe it started in India, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know too much about Ayurveda, but it's something that is incredibly intriguing to me. And we briefly touched on it in my health coaching training program. And it's something that I've always wanted to dive deeper into. So I've got some books on it, and I pulled out this book that is called A Little Bit of Ayurveda. I was like, okay, I want to see what the fall season means as far as balancing yourself. In Ayurveda, there are different, essentially, personality types. There's Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, and I am a Pitta, which is like fiery, kind of spicy, impulsive. These are all negative traits. I guess some positive ones are brave, focused, courageous, logical, organized, and then more challenging ones. This is how the book puts it. Challenging, angry, jealous, critical, sharp, judgmental. Obviously all things that I, work on every single day. Anyway, so I cracked open this book and I just kind of dove deeper into it than I originally planned. And it's funny because there's a section that says contributing factors to a Pitta imbalance. So there are these 3 personality types. They're called doshas. The whole mission of Ayurveda is balancing your doshas. There are different things that can make certain doshas or personality types imbalanced. And for me, Pitta, excessive stress, excessive consumption of alcohol, highly competitive routine, always being on, hot or muggy climate, and Pitta season, which is conveniently late spring, so April or May, to mid to late fall, which is, it's not mid to late fall yet, but I'm finally kind of feeling like I'm out of that funk. And I'm like, no shit. Like, you've got to be kidding me. Every single thing on this list, I could have already pinpointed as an issue contributing to why I'm not feeling my best. You can dive as deep into this as you want, but there's a reason why this, medicine system is still used today and referenced today. And I was like, you've got to be joking. Like, this is exactly all the stuff that I have just been feeling off about, or I know is causing me to feel off. If you guys want to learn more about Ayurveda, I'll link this book in the show notes, but there's a quiz that you can take. There's online quizzes that you can take to find your doshas. And then there's like morning routine recommendations for the different doshas. There is recommended foods, recommended movement types. So all super interesting. Like I said, I'm not an expert in this, but I am diving deeper into it, especially after reading that. I'm like, of course, it's the answers have always been right on my bookshelf, and it's just up to me to actually implement them. and Ayurveda is just always something that has intrigued me, so I'm definitely going to dive deeper into it. So you're probably wondering why I'm telling you this. I have always felt like I thrive in the fall, and maybe it's that kind of like productive, I hate to use the term girl boss because that's super cringy and I don't think that we say that anymore. I also don't want to kind of feed into hustle culture, but I typically do thrive on a routine, thrive on some sort of consistency like that. But I do typically thrive in a highly productive and competitive environment. For some reason, whenever I feel like it's kind of back to school season, back to routine, I feel my best. And that book just confirmed it. So whether you think that that's like out there and woo-woo, like it's no secret that different people thrive in different environments. So if we're heading into fall and you're super bummed about it because you're a summer person, or if you love spring, or if for some reason winter's like the time of your life, that's okay. We're all wired differently, and there's a reason for that. If for some reason everybody did their best in the fall, then we would all suck the rest of the year, and then like wouldn't the whole world suck? If everybody felt like me throughout April to like mid-July / like now, the whole world would be really off, right? So because we're allowed to thrive at different times of the year, that allows the world to keep spinning, essentially. So if you're listening to this episode and you're like, I just hate fall, like I love summer, maybe you pick up like 2 tips, 2 tricks that make you feel good this fall, and it's like lighting a candle and going for a walk. Or maybe you're like me and you've had a really rough spring and summer and you're ready to just buckle up and push really hard the rest of the year and achieve those goals. That's great too. I'm a firm believer that there's always a reason behind why you're feeling what you're feeling, and whether it's just like the energy in the world is off, or your environment's off, or you've got shit that you've got to work on. There's reasons why you're feeling what you're feeling. It's up to you to dive deeper into that, learn about that, and figure out how you can be the best version of you despite all of those factors. All that being said, since fall tends to be my season, my time to be that girl, hot girl fall, I don't know, call it whatever you want, these are things that I am prioritizing this season. As always, these don't have to be the things that you're prioritizing, because if summer is when you thrive, great, that time has passed. If winter is your time to thrive, great, that time's coming. But these are just a couple things that I am doing to really just put myself first this fall season. And I feel like I've been saying that for like the past couple months, like it's me season, it's me time. But to be totally honest with you guys, I feel like every day is a me day. Every season's self-care season. Like, why wouldn't I always be taking care of myself and always trying to level up? So anyway, that was kind of a bit of a tangent. Let's go ahead and get into things that I'm prioritizing this fall, how to be that girl fall edition. The first thing is practicing the law of proximity. I saw this on TikTok the other day, and it's always something that I've kind of kept in the back of my mind, but it really just brought it to the forefront. This guy was talking about how you are a product of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. Like I said, I've known this. I've always kind of kept it in the back of my mind, but it really kind of challenged me to just check in with who and honestly what I'm spending most of my time on. For example, scrolling. If you're constantly sitting on your phone and scrolling, probably not a lot of good can come from that. Same thing goes with the people around you. If you're constantly surrounding yourself with low vibe people, not much good is going to come from that. On the other hand, if you're constantly surrounding yourself with really cool people who challenge you to better yourself, who are successful, who have goals, who are striving to be successful, you will in turn become that much more successful. Next, I am really going to prioritize not letting myself slip into the winter blues. Because it's getting darker earlier, I can already start feeling that energetic shift in the evenings. And if you guys aren't familiar, winter blues is just kind of a nicer way of saying seasonal depression. I've had my fair share of mental health struggles, and I am making it a point to actively give myself a fighting chance and not let myself slip into that kind of like lonely, sad pattern just because the weather gets colder and it gets darker outside. So one way that I am kind of fighting this slippery slope is just making sure that I'm filling my evenings with activities that involve people and involve something that I like to do and something that kind of makes me feel grounded and whole as a person, which I guess is kind of deep. But for me, oftentimes this is yoga and dinner with friends. So yoga's great because there's actually a studio like literally steps away from my office, and obviously I can just pack my stuff before work, schedule a class at 5:30 or 6, go straight from the office. Hot yoga in the colder months is so incredible because it's an opportunity for your body to obviously get super hot and sweaty, sweat out all those toxins, but also just feel so much more grounded, be cozy, be warm, and most importantly, be with people. Even if you're in a class with like 30 strangers, you're still surrounded by people, which is a lot better than sitting in your house alone being sad because it's dark and cold outside. My other thing to kind of keep myself busy is dinner with friends, and I guess we can kind of segue too into making stronger friendships this season. But I think that making sure that you have some sort of consistent dinner with friends every week, whether it's like a Tuesday night or a Wednesday night, just some sort of like weeknight activity. We don't, like, we're young adults, like, we can have fun. We don't have to be in bed by a certain time. It's not a school night. Like, you're allowed to go and enjoy yourself. And so take advantage of this freedom that you have. Like, if you really think about it, you will never have less responsibility and more freedom than you do right now. So why not take full advantage of that? I have a really good feeling that this fall is going to be a time to make and keep solid friends. I've just kind of been feeling it brewing lately. Like, summer, I was social, don't get me wrong. I wasn't like actively making and trying to keep friends, and I really want to be a better friend. It's funny because Lexi and I were talking about this a couple days ago, but she is just naturally good at being a good friend. Like, she'll remember when people have like sports games, and she'll remember when people have like tests for things, and she texts everybody good luck whenever they have some sort of event going on. And I personally just have my horse blinders on. Like, I don't really pay attention to what's going on outside my bubble, but to some degree that's selfishness, which is fine, but it's a blessing and a curse, that I just kind of pay attention to what's going on like immediately in front of me. And I want to be better at being a good friend, even if it just means like texting people like have a good day or like good luck at your game or whatever. I just want to kind of like make steps to do those things because I know that that will lead me to better, stronger, cooler friendships. And that's something that I'm really, really prioritizing this fall, is just spending quality time with people who I think are going to be a good friend and strengthening those friendships, especially with other girls, because I've never been the type of girl to have a good girlfriend group. I'm a big believer in quality over quantity, no doubt about it, but I think that it would be really cool to have some really supportive, strong, awesome women in my life. And so I am just actively seeking more female friendships that are strong and cool girls that I can hang out with, because it's fun to hang out with guys, don't get me wrong, and I hate to be the girl that's like, oh, I get along so much better with guys, but it kind of is true. And like, guys are fun, but like, you gotta have some girlfriends, you know. Speaking of boys, guys, it's cuffing season is upon us, and we just have to talk about this for a second. We have to talk about it. I'm sorry to bring it up, but I owe it to you guys to talk about this, even if we just kind of breeze through it. It's cuffing season, and it's important to remember that people just tend to look for relationships during this time of year, which is fine, totally fine. But just a friendly reminder is like, you're a big sister. Don't settle. Like, it's fun to explore options. If you're actively looking for something, go for it. But if you're just kind of like, meh, like, unless he's truly worth your time, don't waste your time and his time too. Like, we want to be respectful both ways, right? Because hot girl summer, don't get me wrong, it was hot. We had fun. We had a good time. But now it's time to focus on ourselves. So unless someone comes around and like totally rocks your world, keep to yourself. Do you. Enjoy it. This fall, I'm prioritizing being in bed by like 10 p.m. This is something that I I need to take my own advice because we've been, like I said, Hako summer was hot. We've been out late. We've been having a good time. And so much of a good time, actually, this is a funny story. I live in a condo and the walls are pretty thin. Like they could be thicker. And there's a person above us and a person below us. And then there's someone in the unit adjacent to us, like directly like side to side. And it was Friday night, I think. We went out, we had a good time, and unfortunately we were a little rowdy. I'll own it. We were a little bit rowdy. And the people downstairs like gave us a bit of a noise complaint. That is the first time though that has happened to us. We have had people here later before than that, and probably louder, but we never got a noise complaint then. Anyway, not my best moment, but I will own it. And we were being a little loud. Anyway, that was at like the wee hours of the morning, and like we can't do that anymore. Like I felt jet lagged all weekend because we stayed up super late, and I just need to be in bed by 10. Like plain and simple. There's no reason to be up later than 10 unless something really, really exciting is going on. Like it's time to get some rest. Something else that I'm prioritizing this fall is kind of reworking my morning routine to fit this season. So I'm altering a couple things in my morning routine to kind of align with what this season has to offer. And one of those things is switching my morning coffee beverage from iced to hot. And it doesn't seem like that big of a switch, but I'm such an iced coffee girl that this is honestly, I don't want to say challenging, but it's a bit of like a tweak, you know? I'm doing this slowly. Like if the morning is chillier, I'll drink hot. If it's kind of warmer, I'll still drink iced. But that is kind of a big switch. And then another thing that I'm doing in the morning is just more yoga. So whether it's actually going to a yoga class and then doing the gym later, or going and doing yoga on the balcony, or just even in my room, just making sure that whatever I do first thing in the morning is super grounding before I begin my busy day. The other thing too is like work is absolutely wild these next few months. So if I don't rework my morning routine to match my schedule for that day, I know I'm going to be a psycho, and nobody wants that. Obviously, football, sweaters, hard apple cider, bonfires, all things that I'm looking forward to this fall. I know Starbucks put out their pumpkin stuff. I haven't even touched it, you guys. I'm just kind of, is it overdone? Like, are we tired of pumpkin spice? I don't know. I can go for like a pumpkin bread. I saw a recipe for pumpkin protein balls the other day, so I might try to make those. But let me know your take on pumpkin spice coffee stuff. Like, are we finished with it? Are we over it? Maybe that's the question of the week. Let me know in the group chat. Are you over pumpkin themed stuff, or are you for pumpkin themed foods? Let me know in the group chat. All right, you guys, I think that I'm going to go ahead and wrap up today's episode. If you liked it, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Wow, I was going to say give it a big thumbs up, like, comment, and subscribe. Like the retired YouTuber in me just emerged for some reason. If you guys liked today's podcast episode, be sure to give it a 5-star rate and review, because that just helps more people find and listen to the show. Share with a friend who might also enjoy it. Be sure to tag me in your Instagram stories if you repost the podcast. You can follow me on Instagram as well at Lily Rayco, and then you can also follow the podcast Instagram. Both of those will be linked in the show notes. I love you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.